This morning in studio guest is Myles McNamara from Comfort Keepers. And there's so much to talk about this time of year. I think a big reminder as we go into Thanksgiving, all the families together. How about we take a look at mom and dad and make sure they're okay?
Yeah, it's an excellent point. Thanks, Tori. Nice to be here. In-home care is something that is non-medical, and we, give that helping hand to our seniors. And a lot of times, Thanksgiving, which is the data shows the highest percentage of times we see our family, possibly the only time of year. So we've talked to our parents on the phone. This is for our Santa Claritians who are possibly heading out of town for the holidays to stop, look, and listen. As far as you've talked to mom or dad on the phone, they've seemed fine. They've kept it very light, very superficial. How's the weather? How's the kids? Blah, blah, blah. Now you're going to be there in their home. So when you get there, be observant.
What's the first thing? Yeah, what should we look for?
Well, the first thing you're going to see is them. What's their appearance look like? Have they lost 10 pounds since you saw them last? Are they looking a little disheveled? Are they smelling a little unclean? Are they not showering as often as they used to? There may be some cognitive deterioration. So that's the first thing you look at is them. Are they what they've always been? Is their appearance what it's always been? Is their cleanliness and hygiene what it's always been? And then when you get in the home, take a look around, look in the refrigerator, and don't be a bull in a china shop. Let me back up to say that. Be respectful, be kind, just be observant, and is the house looking a little disheveled? Is there stacked up mail and overdue notices in the corner? And don't be that bull. So if you go to the store with mom and she's still driving, let her drive so you can kind of observe, see what her driving skills are like. Same with dad. If you're in the kitchen, let mom help. So just be observant, because as our parents age in place, they lose a step, and if there's cognitive issues that start to come into play. I've had clients, Tori, that have dementia, second, third stage, and you put them on the phone with a loved one, and it's the same thing. It's really hot here. How's the weather there? How's the kids? They don't call them by name. So there's all those superficial, hey, how you doing? I'm fine.
Sure.
How are you? Kind of thing. So just be observant. Take a look around. It may be time to start looking at that plan a little more intensely.
And here's the other thing. I don't think we should also press the panic button, because we are getting older. And I don't know about you, Myles, but I lose my keys about 6 times a day.
Well, there's a difference between forgetting something and having dementia or Alzheimer's. So again, yeah, we all do that. We're busy. I hardly can remember my mom's name. I've always had my key. They see I was remembering names. But yeah, so there is a difference. But if there is a certain point in time where you think mom or dad are advancing beyond that, there's what they call a neurological workup. You go to a neurologist. There's what they call mini mentals. There's tests. There's things you can do to diagnose if it's more than just losing your keys.
But first things first, observe on Thanksgiving.
Yeah.
Perfect time to do it. Home Comfort Keepers, home care. Tell me a little bit about. I know about it. Tell our listeners, in case this is the first time they're ever hearing Myles I can't imagine.
Well, it's funny.
Can't imagine.
People I run into and they're like, oh, gosh, I wish I knew you were around when mom was alive. I mean, people don't know what they don't know. Home care is a relatively new industry. We're closing in on ourselves about 2 decades. Home care has been around maybe 25 years. Comfort Keepers has been placed going on 20 years here in Santa Clarita, and I have an office in Encino. Home care we're not nurses. Our Comfort Keepers are what we call personal assistant companions. We help with activities of daily living. So if mom and dad need a helping hand with in and out of the shower, going to a doctor's appointment, helping keep the house clean, making nutritional meals, making sure they stay hydrated during the hot season, whatever the case may be.
Companionship. How about companionship?
We're that helping hand in the home that allows them to stay in their home independently and safely.
Perfect. And what if, so let's say moving forward, this Thursday and Friday, we see some stuff we don't like. Can we call you and ask your opinion? Just say, this isn't sitting well with me.
Yeah. Well, obviously there's a couple steps there. We'll come in and do a free assessment, evaluation, home visit. But you have to have that talk with your parents as well. You have to, if you notice something, at home this weekend, you just somehow bring it up in the conversation of mom, dad, how do you see this going? How do you see, because sometimes they'll say, when it's time I want to move into assisted living, or when it's time I want a personal assistant, and here comes a comfort keeper. When it's time, who knows what they want. Find out what your parents want. What does that journey look like to them? Have that talk. have that aging in place conversation this holiday if it's appropriate. Make sure the timing's right, not over the dinner table. Don't do it while you're carving the turkey, but have that talk in a nice, open, Mom, Dad, how do you see this happening?
True. Myles, let's take a quick break, and then we're going to talk more about what you guys offer, when you think it's right to, call in some help. Let me just do a quick break here.
Beep, 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 beep. Go!
I do have to check traffic on the 8s. 8:48 coming up on 8:49. It's looking like we have a great ride on the 14 and 5 freeway. However, the only snag I'm seeing right now, because we have no crashes and locally roads are looking great, the only snag, and it's worth mentioning, is the 405. It's a horrible mess. Southbound side, Sherman Way, into the Sepulveda Pass, and even down to Wilshire before it gets better. So here's the thing. If you're headed to LAX, we don't want to panic. So allow some extra time, maybe 20, 30 minutes extra time, especially once you get to LAX. Sometimes that entrance is very full, and the parking situation is a little different these days with the shuttles and Uber and Lyft. So allow some extra time is all I'm saying. And otherwise, if you're staying in town, you're good to go. That's traffic on your hometown station, KHTS. 8:50 on your hometown station with Myles McNamara from Comfort Keepers in-home care. And we talked about not being a bull in a china shop. It's really, really important, because we don't want our parents to have to get defensive, because that can be ugly. Right. And unnecessary. I think dignity is very important. So we need to handle with care.
Well, the thing that people have to realize is no matter how many letters you have after your name, how many acronyms, how many degrees, how many certificates you have hanging on the wall, you will always be their son or daughter.
Yes.
So when you come swaggering into the house and start bossing
and we do,
around,
and listen, we swagger.
Absolutely. And so you go in there with your know-it-all attitude and you start bossing your parents around, you will meet with resistance. So hopefully, and I've said this for years on my show and others, is to have the talk of, again, what do your parents see that journey looking like? And they may surprise you. They may have, I want to sell the house, I want to downsize, I want a condo, and I want a personal assistant. I want to sell the house, I want to move into assisted living. Who knows?
Right.
But again,
they might have it all planned out. We just don't know.
Have that conversation, and which circles back to even more I's and T's being crossed and dotted, is that, have an advanced health care directive. Should, God forbid, something happen to mom or dad where they can't make a decision now, that because you've had this talk, because you've heard their wishes, now you can execute their plan. You don't have to stand in the hallway and argue with your siblings about what mom or dad would have wanted. You have that all laid out. You've had the talk. They've told you what their journey looks like. So now you're just following the program. So again, people, this little cliche, people don't plan to fail, they fail to plan. So, and again, timing, if you decide to approach this, and maybe this weekend during the Thanksgiving holiday is not the time. Maybe this is the weekend you observe, you look around, and you plan to come back and have that sit down chat calmly.
Absolutely.
But again, it's not over the dinner table while you're all sitting around. So, just be in touch. But again, parenting our parents is the hardest transition we'll ever make. I've seen doctors and multiple PhDs try to tell mom to do something, and it's their daughter. Shush up, you don't know any. And I'll walk in with no acronyms after my name, and I'll say something there. That's a bloody great idea.
Yeah, of course.
And the daughter looks at me and just.
I've been saying that for weeks, and you come in and
So understand the dynamics. With your siblings as well. You always have that local sibling who helps and they participate. Then you've got that out-of-town sibling that swoops in, who's the expert and tells you what the way everything should be and why you're doing this. And
you've pretty much described every single family ever
every
in
dynamic
life.
in
the
plan,
pretty much in life. What's the number? Phone number?
Before we go, though, can I just remind our seniors that this is open enrollment. This is your only time of year that you can change your Medicare coverage. So talk to a professional. Sometimes if you have an Advantage plan, or Medicare will change the formularies, which means that medications they cover on your Part D for your prescription drugs. So until December 7th, that's open enrollment. That's the only time of year you can change your Medicare or Medicare Advantage plan coverage. So please evaluate that. I have people I refer folks to that will help you free of charge to reevaluate your coverage, make sure you're in the right place. Contact me for that information or about home care. And you can do that at 661-287-4200, 661-287-4200. I have an office here in Santa Clarita and also in Encino, or just go to comfortkeepers.com.
Comfortkeepers.com. Myles McNamara, happy Thanksgiving.
You too, Aaron. Aaron's the nighttime. Thanks, Tori.
I'm also a girl,
Uh-huh.
but you know what?
I gotta have the talk.
Minor detail. Happy Thanksgiving.